So we are back now, Mr. Ambassador, from the break of commercials. Let me go back to the initial questions before we took the break. What is your opinion about Ukraine now, if I may ask you, the concrete state? Because we talked about the package, Georgia, Moldova, Ukraine. What is your opinion about Ukraine and how important and why is important to stabilize Ukraine?
No, I mean, Ukraine, its situation in Ukraine and the war in Ukraine and the ceasefire in Ukraine, Minsk agreement in Ukraine, it goes far beyond the only Ukraine-EU relationship framework. No, I mean, it's the whole situation in Ukraine, it's about keeping international law and order, which has been established after the Second World War. I mean, if we ignore the fact of changing borders by military force, cutting off territory of another country by military force and annexing it, incorporating in another country, that's the road down to hell. I mean, we are then destroying, or we are allowing or standing by destruction of international law and order, and in a worst case scenario, we might end up going into major war in Europe in the foreseeable future.
Exactly.
I think this is a worst case scenario if we ignore actions like those happening in Ukraine and change of state borders by military force.
Mr. Ambassador, and the Minsk peace didn't actually formalize this illegal annexation?
No, no. The Minsk agreement, as I see a Minsk agreement, it was imposed ceasefire agreement imposed on both sides. No one, as usual, it's a compromise. Therefore, no one is really happy about, probably in a way. But at the same time, it provides way out of this conflict. I mean, if it is implemented, or at least it provides a way forward to get out of that conflict in perspective.
But just a minute ago, you said we should not accept the illegal annexation of territories.
Sure.
And in my view,
in Minsk agreement, you don't see acceptance of.
No, but I see that two powers, and I will ask you. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't have the clear vision, but I don't understand in the name of whom was negotiated this Minsk agreement.
Yep.
It was Russia, which actually doesn't recognize official involvement, and Germany and France, in the name of whom?
Yeah, no, there is many, of course.
I mean, I don't understand.
I recognize that there are many peculiarities, of course, but we have to give a credit to Germany, first of all, to Chancellor Merkel and also France, for stepping in and talking and trying to reach this agreement, and I evaluate very positively, and I have no doubt about that. Again, to get all 28 countries of the European Union negotiating at the negotiating table in Minsk. Can you imagine how long that would take even to sort out point by point or comma by comma some sort of text or agreement among the European Union countries? So, of course, obviously, the Germany took a leading role in this case, feeling responsible, and the France with it, and this was a diplomatic attempt. We should take it a diplomatic action. I mean, attempt to reach a ceasefire agreement, which they did.
According to the international law, how?
Meaning how?
How international law is very clear. This was let's say this is a war where we have an aggressor.
Yeah, and Germany is, of course.
We have an aggressor, which is Russia. So I'm not sure I understand very clear. So it was Merkel, Hollande, and Putin negotiating for a war which officially is between, not between Russia, not between Germany, not between France.
No, I understand. I understand that.
I'm sorry.
History is full of such examples. I mean, they are providing good offices and mediating roles, so to say, in the conflict, and I think for a good cause, and really stepping in, and this is much appreciated. I think if they would ignore it, if they would not take action, and that would be probably even worse for the image of the European Union, would create even more false opinions that European Union is doing not enough in this conflict. But now we had a very, very determined and firm action on the part of Germany and France, and very much appreciated. Putting also kind of national, national potential or the diplomatic potential behind the whole move, and that's great. I mean, this is this is what the European Union is all about.
Yes, I like very much this talk show with you, because we have different opinions on all the subjects. Because for me, Minsk was a failure for EU, was a failure for France and Germany. It was a winning for Putin. Putin was in the situation of being the invader, and 2 days before the Minsk II, he just declared that his soldiers, by mistake, they didn't know where the border is.
There has been many mistakes.
It was he was not making a mistake. He was joking with Europeans. He was joking about 1-2 million Ukrainians leaving their countries, or hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians being killed or being moved from their places. So my point of view is that I, first of all, don't understand how could two countries negotiate in the name of themselves if they were not involved, and why they didn't accept it, John Kerry, to be in the format. As you know, United States wanted to be in the negotiation format, and France and Germany refused that. Why Poland, which is a neighbor of Russia and it's a neighbor of Ukraine, was not in that format? Why Romania was not in that format? Because we are affected by the war in Ukraine. It's not Germany and France, which are making business on millions of meter cubes of gas with Russia. Maybe I was too mean. Maybe I was too mean.
No. I mean, obviously, I mean, one can ask plenty of questions there. About the formats and who was participating in why. I think, again, I repeat, the main goal, the main aim, as one can see, was to reach a ceasefire agreement as soon as possible. Is Russia winning by that? I'm not that sure. I think, well, one can assume, of course, to an extent, both sides are winning. I mean, with ending hostilities, by ending hostilities. As far about the participation and the format, why only Germany and France, not the United States, not Poland and or not Latvia or not Romania? Well, the first thing is that the Germany, France, I mean, there was a close, obviously also close coordination with Ukraine about the whole thing, and the same story goes, as far as I know, about the coordination with the United States.
Not really.
I have seen indications that there was a coordination with the United States as well. The logic could be, I mean, there is this bizarre, very often or mostly, on most occasions, you can hear very bizarre interpretation from the Russian side, from state-controlled media, that what it is Ukraine, they don't believe that there could be a revolution in a country. They believe that in case of Ukraine, it's the United States initiated action,
you mean the Maidan,
conspiracy.
The Maidan
The whole thing is United States initiated, and so on and so on and so on endlessly. So. Could be, I'm speculating, I don't know. I mean, probably when the Chancellor Merkel and President Hollande went to Minsk, could be some aspect playing a role there, maybe that the US was not at that particular time at the table, and then the Russians could again say that, okay, yes, Americans are managing the whole thing, and but Kerry did travel to Russia, and the diplomatic efforts are underway, luckily so.
We can move, of course, further of these Minsk negotiations.
But the Ukraine, if we round up Ukraine, I think it's tremendous tragedy. I mean, those persons who initiated this war in Ukraine, the only thing they have achieved is they have destroyed the lives, normal daily lives of millions of people. They have destroyed their lives.
So, Mr. Ambassador,
thousands of dead.
How did Ukrainian win from the peace, from the Minsk peace, which I hated? I don't understand it, and for me, it's not a peace. It was just diplomacy of the 16th century.
No, no.
In the meantime, we have a population, and on that chair was the Ukrainian ambassador, and he described how the people under occupation of I don't know who, because officially is no Russia. Yes,
there is no state
how they
entity.
live.
It's basically bandits.
Yes, they are bandits. They don't live pensions. They don't get pensions. The men are enrolled to fight against their relatives, because basically the soldiers, the Ukrainian soldiers, can be their brothers. It's like Romania would be the Moldova against Transylvania. The women are used for working, and they are not paid. So I'm sorry, I don't really understand what did Germany and France achieve out of it.
They achieved the ceasefire.
The ceasefire.
Yes, and that well, in my personal belief, I mean, the ceasefire still is better than active war. What it gives Ukrainian side, it gives a possibility to consolidate the country, to make economic reforms, to make themselves stronger, in all aspects stronger, also politically, economically, and also militarily, and to consolidate themselves, to put their house in order. That's what, if the Minsk holds, we don't know that yet. It can go either way. We are not sure, of course. There is no 100% guarantee to anything. I mean, but if the Minsk II agreement holds, and we all hope that it does, then it's a possibility for Ukrainians to pull themselves together.
Yes, Mr. Ambassador, I would like to move a little bit to Latvia.
Sure. Yeah.
Before that, I will say one more thing, and I will ask you. Unfortunately, in my view, we created a precedent, and Russia created a precedent after '89, when all the countries for 25 years believed that life is beautiful and we can live in a wonderful world. The reality is quite dark now, and Romania lives with the war at the door. You are a neighbor with Russia directly. You are not like us having some buffer zones. You have them at your border. And unfortunately, I am not understanding why nobody cleared my mind in the name of who, I mean, what international organizations or international organization gave the mandate to some individuals like Merkel or Hollande to negotiate in the name of nobody. This was not okay, because this is at least 1 century, 2 centuries ago negotiations approach. That's why nobody assumed it. If EU would have given the mandate, if UN would have given the mandate, NATO, it was different. In my view, unfortunately, Mr. Putin gained something. He remained with the territories, he remained with the soldiers, the bandits are there, and the people living in those areas their life is destroyed, their life is zero. We don't even know what happens in those territories, just from few observers from time to time. They are dying because they don't get food. Sure. So I really don't see what Merkel and Hollande achieved. And if I look to the picture of ending the Minsk II, I see Mr. Hollande and Ms. Merkel being quite disappointed that their partner of business, Mr. Putin, managed to impose so many things in the Minsk II. Because if I look to the agreement, I don't see many benefits from Ukraine, for Ukraine. I see that Ukraine must pay even the salaries of the bandits. I see that they must do a territorial reform only with the agreement of Russia, even though Russia is not involved officially. So, okay, I understand with the ceasefire, but Mr. Ambassador, we have a country invading another country, and a win-win situation would have been to kick out Russia. I'm sorry to tell you that, but I don't see the winning for the Ukraine.
First of all, we don't live in a perfect world. I think that's the first
But you
thing.
and us live in a free world.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But we also live in a real world, and the politicians try to do their best to achieve a positive result, and that's probably the best positive result which could be achieved under the circumstances given in this particular situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm not also so skeptical about speaking about that the negotiations were carried out about like 200 years ago, or Vienna Congress or whatever. No, because they were not carried out behind the Ukrainian backs. I mean, Ukrainians were at the table, and there were participants in the whole...
They were not having any word there.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's...
Their point of view was...
If that would be so, I mean, they could have disagreed. I mean...
Well, yeah, but they would be conquered, so it's quite difficult.
Yeah,
that's
so
why
it's a speculation.
It's a speculation. It's a speculation. My view is that they should have been having a mandate, not going as two powers to negotiate with another power.
Yeah, but then again, you have to negotiate mandate, and there was for whatever information the leaders had on their hands. I mean, they felt that, or for humanitarian reasons, I mean, they felt certain time pressure, certain pressure of public opinion to act, and given the circumstances, that was the result.
You know, I should ask this to ambassadors, the three ambassadors, the fourth and fifth ambassadors, not you.
Right.
You do a good job defending them, but I'm wondering what Hollande was thinking. Was he thinking when he was negotiating with Putin about the two Mistral or about the interests of Ukraine? I'm wondering if Mrs. Merkel was thinking about the 35 million meter cubes of gas for their economy to be the best at $270 per 100 meter cubic gas, and or she was thinking the interest of Ukraine. I'm just wondering, because Romania is buying for $400. So I think in this business should have been someone involved which is neutral. Germany and France are one of the important business partners of Russia, as well as Italy. And by the way, I don't think at the meeting was the High Commissioner of for Foreign Affairs. She was not even present there, Mrs. Mogherini.
Don't remember.
So no, I remember. I remember, and I checked. She was not even in the room to take notes. So I am a little bit pissed off because I am living in Europe, and I don't want in my name tomorrow Germany to decide, because that's why it's a European Union. Else we dissolve the European Union, and we all make bilateral agreements, Mr. Ambassador.
On the other hand, you can go to Minsk and organize Minsk 3 and have a better result. Or other thing is you have, that's the questions you mentioned are very good questions for your next shows. and respective guests invited from respective countries, I think.
Yes, of course. I will do that. The Minsk 3, Mr. Putin wants. I don't think he wants to speak with me because I'm not representing European Union. But at the same time, I don't want our countries, because are smaller, to be sacrificed for the interests of the big countries.
No.
I will go now to Latvia, because it's more normal, and you are a country which now holds the European Union. And my question to you is the following. You have maybe difficult, maybe good geopolitical situation. You have Russia at the west, you have Lithuania, you have Estonia, you have the Baltic Sea. So how do you see your geopolitical situation? Is it an advantage or a disadvantage?
No, look, of course it's advantage. I mean, the Latvia and the capital city Riga, if we look back in the history, it was always a prosperous region with one precondition: when there was a peace in the region. I mean, it was always, because it's a very convenient location. I mean, it's crossroads, basically, for transit routes, for trade, for logistics, for everything. Nowadays, also for tourism, for many other things. We have beautiful nature, beautiful sea coast, sea line. We have in very good neighborhood. We are living in a very good neighborhood, actually. We have also very close cooperation with our Nordic neighbors. I mean, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, also Finland. I mean, they also have, with their developments, I mean, they exert a positive influence all over the region, and it just works perfectly fine.
Do you feel in danger from Russia? Because Lithuanian and Estonian presidents declared that they are in an open war with Russia, if you remember.
Yeah, war, but that was about a hybrid war or information space or something.
Yes, information space.
Not actual military war.
The whole world would know that. But they made this declaration. Your president never did that.
No, I mean, we are, of course, we are concerned about the developments due to the situation or war in Ukraine. But at the same time, one should not be too paranoid. I mean, we have to do our homework, and we have to improve our defense system. And we are putting in more money in it because we have also been alerted by this, or how to say, put in a hibernation mood, so to say, by this previous 20 years that life is beautiful. Our soldiers, well, we just prepare expeditionary forces, they go elsewhere. They do operation together with NATO allies, and then they finish that, and then they come back, and that's over. The story is over, and but not anymore. I mean, now we have war in Europe,
So do you feel
which was not
threatened?
real before and didn't feel real, but now it's reality. And of course, that was a theoretical probability all the time long, and that's one of the reasons, because we had a healthy attitude, I mean, towards this theoretical probability all down the road. So that was one of the reasons why we joined the North Atlantic Treaty Organization in 2004, and that was a major, so to say, also historical experience, but also geopolitical considerations. I mean, what if scenario comes forward.
And what if scenario is now applied? I mean, I repeat the question.
Not to a full extent, of course, but not our borders. But
do you feel threatened by Russia?
We feel concerned, definitely. Yeah, no, but we recognize we are in North Atlantic Treaty Organization, so we have NATO soldiers on our ground in our territory. We have air patrols of NATO aircraft. We have regular exercises in our territory, and we are boosting up our defense.
Okay. I had as an invitee General Breedlove, which was speaking that about a possible future target to be a Baltic country. So that's why I asked you if you feel just concerned is good.
No, we can of course we can mark many potential targets. I mean, it's a question always about intentions and about capacity, of potential aggressor. So we must stay vigilant. We must prepare ourselves for eventual unexpected surprises, of course, but also we shouldn't be too paranoid. I mean, but we have to do all the logical steps, and we are pretty happy with what the NATO is doing right now. NATO, it's also a collective organization, and it's about collective defense, and we are pretty much happy with the NATO summit results and all the preparations. Rapid reaction force is put in place, headquarter elements, and all the exercises.
Maybe it is not polite to ask you, but
please do.
From the way you described, can we say, not paranoid, but because this would be too hard, but can we say that the Lithuanian president and the Estonian president were overreacted? Because I took them seriously.
No. When the president says something, we should take it seriously. No. I mean, overreacted. It's a relative term. I mean, it's always a relative term. Depends, given circumstances, what kind of emphasis you want to make or put, and at what stage and what situation.
I quote from the declaration.
We
are in a war with Russia. They didn't they didn't say informational or any other. They just say we are already in a war with Russia.
No, I mean, if we okay, we can go into this hybrid warfare theory and different stages of that. Of course, where propaganda warfare is one of the elements of warfare. Absolutely. Then, of course, we are at that stage. I mean,
you have Sputnik, you have Russia
everything.
Today.
It's internet, it's a television. I mean, I was in Sofia a couple of days ago, and when I switched on, there is of course also their Russian TV channel, and when they say, without blinking, they say that, oh, United States is initiating unrest in Macedonia because they don't support sanctions against Russia or something like that. It's utter nonsense, I mean, but it goes without blinking. I mean, of course it's propaganda warfare. I mean, and stories like that are being spread daily, on a daily basis.
What I do observe, and I'm happy to see that from the free Baltic countries, you are the most relaxed and take.
I wouldn't say that relaxed, but we are pragmatic in our approach.
Okay.
I mean, we do our homework. I mean, that's what it is all about. And as I said, we are very happy. There are very many positive elements. Also a positive on PR side. if you remember this Dragoon ride, I mean, what the US troops did take,
Yes.
I mean, they were traveling from Estonia actually to Germany, throughout the Baltic countries, Poland, Czech Republic, and then Germany. And there was something in Romania as well. And you see, it's such a, I mean, from PR point of view, it's such a positive signal, I mean, element. I mean, you see public waving flags, and for me, as a historian, I have only one comparison. For me, it strikes like something coming from, I don't know, Normandy landing, 1944,
Yeah.
something like that. The public, jubilous.
They were
I mean,
very
they
happy.
really happy. I mean.
We will take a short break of commercials and we will be back. Publicitate.